Skirt. Oh, baby. It's cold out. Oh, man. America's favorite scary clown is back, baby. Okay, second favorite. Well, I wanna start by asking you this. Have you seen a worse movie than this in the last 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Which one?
I don't know. What did you expect going into it?
I don't know what I expected, but regardless of what I expected, that movie was trash garbage.
Honestly, I had the lowest of low expectations, and they did the one thing that I'm glad they didn't do, which was bring Jigsaw back to life. So
the one thing you didn't want them to do.
The one thing I wanted them to do is not bring Jigsaw back to life.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I wanted them not to do is bring Jigsaw back to life, and they didn't do that. So
okay, but how hard is that to,
well,
don't resurrect a character. Okay,
for a second, they looked like they did that.
Yeah, but even so, like, okay, fine. So they checked your one box.
Yeah.
But I had other boxes, like have the traps be creative, and have the plot be interesting, and have the characters have a believable connection to the original stuff, and all of that was just garbage. Like, I don't know. Didn't it feel like watching a parody of?
Yeah, it did.
Saw?
It kind of, but I mean, all of them felt that way since Saw 4. So
Yeah, okay.
I thought this was better than Saw the Final Chapter. I thought this was better than Saw 5. I thought this was better than Saw 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Those are terrible.
No, but why did you think this one was better?
Because, to me at least, I didn't think they went too far. I didn't like those other ones just got way too out there, and I think this one
had laser beams.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't care about that. I'm saying just in terms of like who the killer is and story and blah blah blah. This felt more to the original compared to those ones. Because the other ones were just like, this guy's the killer, now 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 this guy's the killer. This one it somewhat made sense compared to the other ones.
I mean, I gotta disagree with you, but
though the other ones with
okay, so if you're thinking like 5 through 7 or whatever, like those were trash garbage also. I don't think this is any better than those, and I kind of want to say that it's even worse than even the bad Saw movies.
Why?
Obviously, like Saws 1 through 3 were really good. I think we agree on that.
I don't think 3 was very good.
Okay. So you think 1
honestly,
and 2?
I don't think 2 was very good. I thought the only one that's actually been good is Saw 1.
Yeah.
But
okay. But we agree that 4 through 7 were trash garbage, right?
I mean, honestly, the only one that was actually good was the first one. The other ones are all just torture, murder, special effects stuff, and that's what you're going into it. Like, I know these movies, like, if you look at just the acting in these movies, they are terrible.
Oh, God.
And even in the first one, they are terrible.
Yeah.
But I'm saying in terms of just, like, the twists and things like that, I think this one is better than probably 4 through the remainder.
I mean, if it was, it's not by much.
Yeah.
Because they're all just God, I don't know. This one just seemed... And honestly, this was so bad, it made me think back, and I'm questioning whether any of the Saws were good.
Only the first one, like I'm saying. The first one is good.
Yeah. And
because that twist...
Like, even that one. Even that one. Okay? So, like... Okay, so the twist at the end of Saw 1. If you think about that for more than about 10 seconds, that doesn't make any friggin' sense. You know what I mean? And so, like... But I think the difference between that one, and I'll still defend the first 3 or so. The difference between the twists in those and the twist in the end of this one, is that you could at least have started to piece stuff. Like, this one, they buried the lead so deep that the twist at the end didn't make any freaking sense,
So,
like, at all.
When did you figure out it was in the past? Because I figured that out with about 20 minutes left.
Yeah, as soon as Jigsaw showed up, you're like, oh, okay, this has to be in the past. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. I hadn't thought about it before then, before you mentioned, but you leaned over to me and said that, and I was like, oh, yeah duh.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is a twist they already used.
Did they?
Yeah, in Saw 3. The the whole thing, and actually Saw 2. They've done it multiple times where the time is the twist.
Yeah.
And then, okay, but fine, like, okay, so that is in the past. Even if you're gonna forgive that, the whole thing about that guy being revealed as the killer is such horseshit.
Yeah.
And then he's always been with the Jigsaw because they've already used that twist where the killer ends up having always been a part of it.
Yeah.
Like, they even revealed this guy to have been a part of the bear trap from the first movie.
Yeah.
I just really, I don't know. And it's been a long time since I've watched one of these, but everything from, like, the writing, the acting, the plot of this movie sucked.
Yeah.
The even the way it was shot seemed like it could have been shot by some YouTubers.
It seemed that was bad. Yeah, I mean, it looked different. It felt different than the other Saws. The traps, and like I said, weren't as good. I don't know.
The traps in this one were like, and even, I don't know, it just so seemed like a parody of itself, and a bad parody of itself.
Kinda, yeah.
That it really just sucked. Like, and I think I'm more annoyed than I would be, like, okay, fine, the movie's bad, right? But I really enjoyed the first couple Saw movies, and we were excited to go to this, even with low expectations, because it's more Saw.
I was excited because I knew how stupid it was gonna be.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, you're excited just to see what, crazy things they do. Like that's the point of these movies is, to see the traps and stuff like that. I mean, ever since, honestly, again, since the first Saw, the stories have been not good. So, I mean, I don't care about the story. Again, like I said, the only thing that I didn't want them to do is bring it back to life somehow, and they didn't do that, so cool. But, and you can't, I mean, unfortunately, it's just the nature of this, you can't not have him involved somehow, because that's the whole thing. The Saw is him, is John Kramer. So,
but
they
it
shouldn't
doesn't
have made
have
another
to be.
movie.
It doesn't. Okay, first, don't make this movie.
Don't make any more Saw movies, yeah.
But also then, okay, so they could have just, after Saw 3, they could have just been copycats. Like, why is this movie any better because they showed Jigsaw? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
that's just a dumb choice to me.
None of them have been good. So.
No, but, like, try. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna give it a shot and try to make a decent Jigsaw movie, just make it be an apprentice of his. Maybe you flash back to him getting trained, but why even try to have it be like, oh, it's him again with his blood and all that shit? Like, why? That doesn't make any sense. It's a dumb choice.
Well, I mean, that makes people think that he's back and scares everyone, type of thing. But
yeah, but you can do that without it being like his blood. You know what I mean? Okay, so now we have to think that they held on to his blood for 10 years in a lab.
Who knows?
I just think every single choice they made in this movie was bad, is what I think. And I don't know. I would be amazed. I really am anxious to see what the Rotten Tomatoes is. Is that what you're going to pull up right now? Say it again.
33%.
33% this has? That seems high to me.
Let me look up the other Saws real quick. Original Saw is 48%.
Yeah.
Saw 3D has 9%.
Okay.
Saw 6 actually has 38%. Saw 5 is 12. Saw 4 is 17. Saw 3D was 27. Saw 2 is 36. So none of these movies are good.
No. Okay, and like fine, I get that critically, but at the time when they came out, the first 3 at least, and maybe you say the first one, I'm okay with that. They at least were. Maybe it was because it was something new, it was something different. Torture porn was obviously a big thing at that time, and the twists were cool. this didn't seem like it tried to do anything new. And maybe that's my problem with it.
So I don't think the twists were that cool after the first one. I think the traps and stuff got more creative. That's what people kept
The creative traps were...
That's what people kept coming back for, is the traps, and seeing that. People didn't care about the twist after the first one, because you can't do anything surprising anymore after that first one.
Yeah.
So that's what people came back for, and I think that's what this one failed, because even with Saw 4, 5, 6, 7, how many there have been, the traps in those at least got more and more crazy, to the point where they got too crazy, and then people fell off of it. This one, they toned everything down, and that's, I think, maybe what you're disappointed in, potentially. I mean, there's a lot to be disappointed in for you, but I think that in this one, and I agree, it looked like it was shot weird. It looked like they just took the Saw franchise and stripped a bunch away.
It looked like a 17-year-old tried to remake Saw, is what it looked like.
And I don't think any of the original people are involved with this.
No, it didn't
because
look like
the original people had said we're done after Saw 12. So,
and it just, so even the traps in this one, right? They were given to them as like riddles, right? They're like,
yeah.
Oh, you have to sacrifice something to get away. That's not how they were in the beginning. It was like, cut off exactly 8 pounds of fat and put it in this bucket, and I'll let you go. He used to explain exactly what he wanted you to do.
Yeah.
It wasn't a riddle.
Yeah.
These were all freaking riddles. Like, they gotta figure stuff out in 10 seconds.
I think it
didn't make any sense.
I think there's an interesting movie in here in terms of like seeing his past and seeing kind of where his trap started.
Yeah.
And seeing why he does all this and everything like that, which they might even explain that in other ones.
That's been explained in the other ones, but fine. But even if you're gonna do an origin, fine, do one. But don't try to trick me into thinking it's not one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, I wasn't mad at it was the past thing. I really wasn't mad at that.
I wasn't so much mad at it.
I think because that made me relieved that it wasn't him anymore.
Yeah. I just thought it was a dumb choice to make. Like, when I found out, oh, this was 10 years ago, I was just like, oh. That was my reaction. Like, I don't know, I just think that everything about this was a rehash. There wasn't anything new. Like, what about this was new besides lasers?
No, it wasn't. I mean, yeah, I mean, it wasn't new, but I don't know.
I just, and like we said, we agree that these movies haven't been good for for a long time. They haven't been
Since
good.
the first one.
And so, like, okay, fine. But if you're going to bring it back out, if you're going to dust it off and bring it back and try to make a new one, then make a new one. You know, don't just barf out the same old crap.
What else can you do? I mean, there's really nothing else you can do. They've done Apprentices. They've done...
Do a copycat. Do a copycat that's completely unrelated. Have him just do some original new traps with new characters.
Then just don't even call it Saw. Like, make a different franchise then or something. But,
yeah. But, I mean, even if you call it Jigsaw, just have it be a copycat. What's wrong with that?
I don't know. I think that's...
You know? That's a dumb idea.
Who's the most interesting character in this? It's him, you know, and it's John Kramer. So, I mean, and that's never going to change. So, unless they just stop doing them altogether, I think, you know, there's no point.
Yeah, well, no, definitely this should not have gotten made. I agree with you there. But I think that if you're going to do it, do it in a different... Don't just barf out the same crap. Oh, he happens to have been an apprentice this whole time, and we've never known about it for the entirety of the previous 8 movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Repeat the time twist. Repeat the apprentice twist. Repeat most of the traps. None of these were really unique compared to the other ones.
Yeah.
And by the way, that twisty thing that the black dude got chopped in, that doesn't make any sense physically.
Yeah.
He could have easily escaped that trap. If he had just he was hanging upside down, right?
Yeah.
He could have just grabbed onto the motorcycle and pulled himself up on top of the motorcycle, and then the chain just would have gotten limp. It would have just continued to lower chain down until nothing happened. He could have just sat on top of that motorcycle forever.
Well.
Right?
Unless, you know, he came out and grabbed him or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but there's no... I don't know. The traps sucked. And the thing that I hate the most about it was the way that the traps were presented didn't match up with the previous stuff.
Yeah.
And if he was an apprentice of his the entire time, he would have known how to set up the traps and how to explain the traps to the people involved. These, like I said, the whole thing about them being riddles was dumb. Because his thing isn't, I want to kill people. It's, I want to have people live. I want them to live and learn something from it. was.
Mm-hmm.
And this didn't do that at all. It never even touched on that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, so we gotta wrap up here. Can you say something good about this movie?
They didn't kill Jigsaw, or they didn't bring Jigsaw back to life.
Okay.
That's all I wanted. I have, like I said, these movies I have zero expectation for. I don't care what they do, other than I didn't want him to come back to life as like a zombie or ghost or something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. That's all I cared about. So I don't go in for an amazing story or a big twist or anything like that.
Yeah, no, but
I don't care about this franchise at all.
see, I do, and maybe that's why I'm more upset about this than you, because, gosh, I agree with you. I didn't want them to bring him back to life or whatever, and they didn't do that. But that's that's pretty easy to do, not make a zombie.
And that's all I wanted.
And so I would have at least liked for it to have matched the tone of the first ones, or the mood of the first ones, or the look of the first ones, or any of it. And it just didn't. It just seemed like a crappy barf up of old tropes from the other movies.
Yeah.
That was my issue with it.
Now go in the house and watch Saws 4 through 9. And
Yeah, no, but I'm not defending 4 through 9 is not my point here. My point is that this movie sucked.
Yeah, well, they all do, so.
Yeah. Again, I'll defend 1 through 3 until I die, because I really like those movies. And I'm close to the wall, you're not going to be able to get out of me. But I'll defend 1 through 3, and I think you're misremembering how good the twists are in 2 and 3.
Yeah, they weren't very good.
But God, this movie was bad. This movie was top to bottom just garbage. Even if I didn't already like it. I'm so upset I can't even pull into the garage. I gotta stop. Let's get out of the car.
Am I gonna be able to get in the car in the morning?